Purple Daily is daily Vikings entertainment. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.
I will ride with this group.
Seriously, man. Please.
And away we go.
It is that time of week where we make predictions and show you just how wrong we are on a regular basis. The only show in America that actually puts statistics next to our predictions. Write that down. And the accountability session. Before we get into all of it here, and our guest listener predictor, Judd, let's start our journey at Quick Trip, where they're not going to give you bad gasoline at Quick Trip.
Oh, heck no.
Tell
Quality
you
gasoline
that.
guarantee, boys. Quality gasoline.
Tell Jesse Pierce her
guarantee.
issue.
Poor Jesse Pierce. Anyway, it's time to gear up for Quick Trip's Mountain Dew Quick Climb, where each sip is going to get you closer to the summit. Now through August the 17th, play each day for free in the Quick Rewards app and score bonus plays with every eligible item that you grab. A nice cold Pepsi, bold Mountain Dew, Gatorade or Propel, a sparkling bubbler, Starbucks. Guess what? Grab one of those with hot food and earn 2 bonus plays. Every week, someone's cashing in. Now you say, cashing in, sports dad, huh? How about that? I tell you, each week the prize climbs by $5,000. The one player who reaches the top is going to win $250,000 cash.
Wow,
Are you kidding me?
Wow.
Open your Quick Rewards app. Get climbing for a chance to win with Quick Trip and Mountain Dew. No purchase necessary. See full rules at quicktrip.com/sweepstakes for more. That's the mandatory part. That's the mandatory
How do I
part.
land this plane?
That's the mandatory part.
When you get the 250 and when you win the $250,000, you can take it to North American Banking Company, which powers. Write that down. You can take that money to the bank. The North American Banking Company, Minnesota-based banking since 1998. They understand life in the upper Midwest. There's 6 locations across the Twin Cities, and I told you guys the story about 6 months ago. I had a really, really bad experience with a bank that shall go nameless here, just literally trying to get a hold of a human who was like, I just want to talk to somebody. And I think you're going to find personal relationships and also cutting-edge online tools are 2 things that North American Banking Company very much values. nabankco.com/Mackey to learn more. That's nabankco.com/Mackey. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Write this down.
So, all right, let's get into the accountabilities here. You know, it's always a little lighter in the off season, but there's some things that came off the board. If you're new here, write that down. Works this way. 3 Vikings or football-related predictions from everybody on the show. They must be quantifiable so we can track them statistically. We keep track of completion percentage and touchdowns. So a touchdown is anything that is like a 25-ish% or less chance of happening. It's kind of you know it when you see it, but that's what a touchdown is on the show. And then listeners, if you want to be like Wesley and participate as a guest predictor, you can send Declan a note through the Score North app, and we will get you scheduled for some time in the coming weeks. All right, we'll start with Judd. You had one thing come off the board here. You said Aaron Rodgers will sign with an NFL team after July 1st.
Arg. Oh, boy. That was close. I thought he'd wait. I really did.
Yeah, it was kind of like, will he show up for a team's mandatory minicamp or not? Or will we'll do the Brett Favre thing and just wait till training camp?
So he went during his first press conference with Steelers and said that he got married. But now his family's saying he's not. And I guess that they did some work on documents and they can't find a marriage certificate.
I just am so glad the Vikings.
So, I was just going to say, Dex just hit it. I am so glad the Vikings.
Okay. Couple things.
I don't want to go through any of that.
One, his family, he is essentially like broken off communication with his family. So, but number 2, don't you think it's likely that Aaron Rodgers, based on the way he operates, his history, instead of doing like a legally binding marriage ceremony that is acknowledged by the state or whatever, that he would do some sort of partnerships? It's like a ceremony. We are married,
right?
But it's not the way that you would legally go through and get married. Then he would like tell you that he's married.
I am so happy not to have to listen to this crap in this town.
He's the king of like manipulative loopholes and double speak.
Well, he thinks he's so smart. And it's like, dude, first of all, no one cares. And second of all, just be normal for once.
I don't really care if he's normal or not. I just like don't don't bend the truth.
Well,
He loves to bend the truth. And by the way, I don't want to get into a hot topic here, but like whether you are pro-vax, anti-vax, if someone asks you a question and you say, I'm immunized, you're bending the truth. That's fine. Just say no. Just say no.
My only point was glad
Stand
I don't
on
have
business.
to put up with it. Enjoy Pittsburgh. Knock yourself out in the Steel City.
Okay, I had one thing come off the board. JJ McCarthy, I said, would bounce back from his horrendous string of practices with interceptions, this terrible offseason he's been having, according to the national pundits. And he would throw 0 interceptions documented at Wednesday's mandatory minicamp. What a bounce back. In the face of adversity and criticism, speed of the game and those 7-on-7s and shorts and shells.
You nailed it.
And he did not throw an interception at Wednesday's practice. Okay, listeners had nothing come off the board. So we'll highlight one that's still on the board here. Donovan said Jeff Okudah would get his 3rd career interception with the Vikings at some point in 2025.
Good chance.
Kind of playing off our Jeff Okudah conversations. So he just needs an interception at any point in the year, I think is what this is. Because I think he has 2 then. And then Declan had one come off the board here. You said between May 21st and the start of training camp, the Vikings will add a player to their roster with 5 years of NFL experience or more. And I'm sure you envisioned Giovanni Ricci as the conduit to this prediction meet, right?
Can I actually step in and say 2 things? Number 1, I don't think this has happened. His first game came in 2021, and he logged games in 21, 22, 23, so he had 4 years of experience coming in.
Wow.
Okay, so you're disrespecting.
You're self-reporting.
You're kind of self-reporting here, but you're also disrespecting when a player is part of an NFL team on an off-season or practice squad throughout 2023-24. Are you saying that our guy Jeremiah Searles does not get credit for 2 of his accredited NFL seasons because he was only a practice squad guy?
Well, even in like the press release, it says years experience 4. From the Vikings.
But this is his. Hold on a second. Okay, hold on a second. Let's pull this up. Wikipedia.
Is Dex fighting to give back the point and Phil's fighting for him to keep
He was undrafted in 2020, but he was a member of the Carolina Panthers off-season roster, and then practice squad.
Okay.
For the 2020 season, and then 2021. Panthers, 2022 Panthers, 23 Panthers. That's 4 for those counting at home. And then 2024 Cleveland Browns practice squad. That's 5.
All right.
And this would be his 6th accredited NFL season. But if you want to give the point back,
I was going to say this is the most bizarre fight
I'm just
I've ever
making
seen.
sure because I didn't want to. Because I track some of my own stuff to make sure what's coming off. And when I saw it, it's like, oh, he only had 4 years NFL experience. So.
Did they put in the press release
Yes.
he only has 4?
I'm looking at it right
Do
now.
you get that's a really good question.
This is his 6th. I mean, you get an accredited NFL season in terms of whatever the benefits are behind the scenes.
If you're on practice squad?
Because you're working for an NFL team. Like in 2020, he goes undrafted, but starting in April of 2020, he works for the Panthers. April 30th, 2020.
I think the difference is, yes, I think that makes sense that you would get accredited as far as your service time goes, but as far as like the official records of your career goes, I don't think you get the season. But I mean, I'm splitting hairs here.
I mean, I'm trying to defend Declan's prediction.
Just
Declan's
take the point.
trying to take a loss.
I'm just making sure that we don't nothing is missed here.
Well, if you get an accredited season for practice squad from the league, then which I did not know, but I mean it does make sense.
I was just going strictly off the
Correct.
NFL's team's press release that was released 8 days ago on this.
Well,
signing.
let's dig more.
Let's go to their roster. Vikings.
Let's take this offline. Let's dig more. Let's put a pin in it.
Hold on a second.
And I think we're missing also a touchdown prediction that is not credited here either. Not with Ricci.
I knew you were getting to something. I knew it. I knew you were getting something else.
We can open up the spreadsheet. Hold on. I want to pull up the Vikings roster here.
Yep.
Just to see what they have on there. Because the press releases are written by human beings who might be flying through a bunch of work and make a mistake. So on the Vikings website, they only give him credit for 3 NFL seasons because, like to Declan's point, he only played in 3 NFL
Pro
seasons.
Football Reference does the same.
But
So
he has
they
been
are
a
saying-
part of the NFL now for a 6th season. Listen, the Vikings
we can
PR staff and Declan both think this is wrong, so it's going to go as a no.
clarify this too. Like I'll
We
find
did
out.
with the Vikings PR staff, apparently.
Well, I'll send a note to see because I didn't realize. I bet behind the scenes though, Searles has told you this. I bet it's right. I bet you do get accredited seasons for practice squad based on your service time. Right?
Yeah, I'm just going in the database here.
Service time.
Marking this as a no.
Well, whatever. You know what I mean.
No,
Your
I know.
time,
It's
considered spent in the league.
I'm thinking of baseball. Noise.
So, okay, and then what was the one that I missed?
The JJ McCarthy acknowledging Judd.
Let's see here. There it is. JJ McCarthy will acknowledge Judd by name at some point in a press conference or an off-the-record conversation. Probably one of the best predictions of the year here.
Yeah, it's a good one.
From Dex. And so that would be a 1-for-2 performance from Dex this week. Let me mark this in the old spreadsheet. Also done by a human. And we'll give you the statistics that are a little bit inaccurate. But I'm at 58.8% completions. Judd just under 47%. Declan officially is at 38.6%. And then listeners at 28.6%. Mackie and Joe, we both have 3 touchdowns. Declan with 2, and listeners with 0. Still looking for the first touchdown from the listeners there. Declan still leads all-time 37-ish% completions. Judd and I basically deadlocked at 35% all-time stats going back to 2021, and listeners 24%. 61 touchdowns. I have the lead in the touchdown category. So, all right. There we go.
We got through it.
And the acknowledgement of Judd was like,
but not JJ. A TD.
This is why we do have to start determining this before the fact here.
He uses
he's
a lot
an
of
acknowledger.
Names.
He's an acknowledger.
Yeah, he knows a lot of names. He looks at the list and the faces and clearly knows names.
Yeah, he was kind of doing this last year too.
Yeah.
Hey,
now
Kevin,
the way he
question.
acknowledged it,
Ben.
I will say this was a fun exchange. But
it was a fun exchange.
Yeah, like he acknowledges Gessling, Mike Max, Kevin Seifert. So, like, if he didn't acknowledge names, I would say it's a touchdown.
So you're saying if he didn't acknowledge your name, it would have been a touchdown.
It would have been more upsetting if he had. Yeah, I was looking for the JJ. Give it. Come on, man. Say Judd. Just say Judd.
All right. So, after a controversial accountability session in which Declan talked his own prediction out of being correct there, let's bring in...
Just respecting the rules of the game. The rules of the game.
Admire you.
Wesley from his semi-truck in Michigan, in JJ McCarthy country with the JJ McCarthy jersey is our guest listener predictor. What's going on, Wesley?
What's up, guys? I'm ready to get started.
I feel like you should honk the horn. Are you in a position? Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Beautiful. This is the greatest ever. A first.
Every
we've
time
had
we go for the tug
people
sign.
from Europe. We've had people from all different types of predicaments and situations. I think this is our first from the cab of a truck, though.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have the pull string because the Volvo trucks, they have it like on the steering wheel. Like we have both horns on the steering wheel, so we got the regular one and then the air horn.
And what's the so in what situations would you use one versus the other?
Depending on how pissed you are at the person that cut you off.
Okay.
So,
So if you're looking to scare someone pretty good, use the
air
horn.
horn. Yeah.
The first one seems really meek. Like, I don't think a truck should have a meek horn.
Yeah, I've experienced a truck horn. It's pretty terrifying, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah. You got somebody pulling off the exit in front of you that's going 20 miles an hour slower than you. You gotta let them know to get moving, you know.
Yeah.
Because I can't stop in a hurry.
By the way, you've hit these people that like merge onto a freeway going 39 miles an hour.
It's literally called the acceleration lane, and then they end up hitting the brakes and then just pulling out in front of you, and it drives you absolutely insane. Because even if it's their fault, if we get into an accident, the trucking company still gets like marks against them, like safety rating and all that. So it's just a no-win for us.
New idea. Number 1, cops on an entrance ramp to a freeway, we're done with this. Like, state troopers, go sit on the shoulder. Do not go on the entrance ramp because everyone now naturally goes slower. Idea number 2, put the speed limit sign on acceleration ramps. Like, put the upcoming speed limit. There's one in Woodbury where I lived in for 2 years. That's 75 miles an hour, and no one knows what it is, so they're going 45 on the entrance ramp. Put the speed limit thing on the entrance ramp, so we all are aware of what the upcoming speed is.
I agree. I need to wait a mile and a half to figure out, this is the Autobahn?
Exactly.
Oh, it's crazy.
Telling
I was going
the cops,
51.
though, what to do is probably not a great idea, Dex, because now they're going to be looking for you.
Wait, do the cops put the speed limit signs out
No,
on the freeway?
When cops sit on an entrance ramp into a freeway, like they'll be on the side or the shoulder, that drives me nuts because everyone naturally drives 15 miles an hour under the speed limit. Which, by the way, it's okay to go the speed limit in front of a cop too. I have a lot of rules for drivers. Okay?
All the time, I'll be driving on the interstate and I'll be going under the speed limit behind somebody, and there'll be a cop sitting in the center of the freeway, and then everybody's natural reaction is just to slam on the brakes. And it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
We're going under the speed limit. It's okay. Just go.
He's gonna pick one of you guys, pull you over, and ruin your day.
Yeah.
So, anyways, there's Purple Daily for today, the Traffic Gripes edition here. Purple Daily. Click that subscribe button, that like button. All right, Wesley. So, give us your backstory as a Vikings fan in Lions country.
So originally, I was born in 1990, so I didn't start watching football until like 2006-ish, and I was a big Terrell Owens fan, Steve Smith, and I was kind of floating around teams, and I just, for some reason, like the Vikings. My dad wanted me to be a Lions fan, but I mean, who the hell wants to root for Joey Harrington, and
great point.
So I just decided to be a Vikings fan.
You made a business decision, decision.
For you.
Yeah, it's like, they're like 2-14 every year. It's like, do I really want to root for them? No.
I'm good on Joey Harrington and Charlie Batch. I think I'll find a new team. Yeah.
But and we drafted this guy called Adrian Peterson. I got his jersey, and he just started tearing up the league.
Yeah, Joey Harrington couldn't keep up with that Adrian Peterson offensive attack.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken here, didn't the 0-16 come in like 2007 for the Lions?
2008.
Okay, yeah. So that probably solidified your decision as a really quality one right there.
Funny enough, their closest loss in 2008, their 0-16, was to the Vikings. We won by 2 points or whatever, 3 points.
I think both games, if I remember right, were actually pretty decent sweats for Vikings fans. One that was for sure, and another one that was in the third quarter, the Vikings were either trailing or still tied to an 0-12.
Didn't Longwell win one?
Yeah, I thought they got booed off the field after one of those wins.
It might have been halftime, Phil. I think I was sitting by you. I think it might have been in the Metrodome, in the press box. I think they got booed off the field at halftime, and I think they might have won on a Longwell field goal.
It was October 12th, 2008, and the Vikings at home, Metrodome, they beat the Lions 12-10 in that game.
Yeah.
And they were the Vikings were trailing at halftime of that game.
That's
3-2.
Nice.
And the 2 was the famous Dan Orlovsky running out of the back of the end zone play. So the Vikings took a 2-0 lead, and they had that 2-0 lead until the 2-minute warning of the first half, and then Jason Hansen hit a 40-yard field goal to put the Lions up 3-2. And so they definitely got booed going into, but I'm pretty sure they got booed because Longwell hit a game winner. But I'm pretty sure they got booed also at the end of the game by some people. I remember that being a thing. People were so mad. How did you only beat this team 12-10?
And when they played them again in week 12, the Vikings only led by 1 point with less than a minute to go. So yeah,
amazing. And then they won that game 20-16. En route, by the way, to a division championship 10-6 season in a home playoff game. But we digress here.
Write this down.
Okay, Wesley, you're going to make your first prediction. Then we'll go around the room. We'll make 3 trips. So if you're ready, we're ready.
All right. So this one, you're going to love, Mackie. On the first Purple Daily O-line breakdown with Alex Boone, he will utter the phrase "and at the same time" and or "but at the same time" a minimum of 6 times.
Okay. So 5.5 being the over under on that, and you're taking
It's
the
going to
over.
be way over. I think it's probably going to be like 15. Like I watch the O-line committee all the time, and I swear to God, it's like every other sentence he's saying that.
It is a crutch for him, and I think he is alert to the crutch, but he provides so much entertainment between that crutch phrase that we.
Yeah.
And he can snap our necks with just one quick
Mr.
move.
Boone, this is not us. This is not us.
Yeah.
We love you.
Here's some feedback.
He scares the hell out of me. Like when he's just glaring at you. Like,
oh, yeah.
If he was a police investigator and like grilling me, I would just be confessing to crimes I had never even committed.
You just fold immediately.
Yeah, he just scares the hell out of me.
Detective Boone.
Write it
I
down.
could actually
You like
see
writing
it.
things down?
I could actually see that. Okay, I'm going to go back to my 1.0 projection of the Vikings 53-man roster I did on Monday and write this down. Brian Asamoah and Ty Chandler will be cut by the Vikings before the regular season. So I don't think they're going to make it out of final cuts. I think both of them are going to be cut. So
before the regular season, right?
Yep, before. Okay. Yeah. So the cutoff date is basically the last cuts, but
sure.
That will leave then Jalen Naylor as the only member of the 10-person 2022 draft class.
Okay. All right, over to Dex.
Write it down. You like writing things down?
All right, write this down. So a listener sent this to me. The Vikings haven't scored at least 50 points in a game since the 98 season, which is
Jaguars
wild.
game.
And I think in this decade alone, I had the thing pulled up. I believe 13 teams, and just since 2020 have scored at least 50 points in a game. So write it down. The Vikings will score at least 50 points in a game at some point in 2025. They'll break this streak.
You know, I believe they are also, if you lower that bar to 40 points over the last 10, 15 years, they're pretty low on that list too. But they're not like a garbage offense. You know, they'll regularly get you 23 points or 28 points or maybe 30 something. But
the Titans haven't done it since 1990.
Oh, it's the Oilers.
And then the Vikings are the second longest tenured team to not do it.
Interesting.
1990. You know, this could actually be. We came up with an idea on the Mackey and Judd podcast yesterday, or maybe it was one of our podcasts. Of the baseball reference or football reference rabbit hole, where you just it's a 30-minute timed episode or like a 40-minute. It was with Plouffe.
Yeah,
it was a twin show. This would be like right here. This would be the entry point. That the last time the Vikings, we have a 30-minute episode every week, Purple Daily, and you start with a fact or a thought, and it's the Vikings haven't scored 50 points in a game since that Jacksonville game in 1998, and that's where the episode starts. And then you pull open that box score on Pro Football Reference, and then all three of us just start. You click around, and whatever pops up. Oh, Judd clicked on. Oh, Mark Brunell was the quarterback in that game. Let's look at his career journey.
Well, there's and they do a game too where it's like, how many clicks does it take you to get to so and so? So it'd be like, how many clicks would it take you to get to Eddie George when clicking on the 2000 Vikings? And
it's like name that tune.
Yeah, so you have to,
I can do it in 2 clicks.
Yep. How many clicks will it take you to get there?
I love this. We're going to workshop this.
Write this down.
Okay, write this down. Tai Felton. A lot of Tai Felton love here. Star Tribune feature, Judd's Camp Notes.
Got one, too.
A lot of yak. I'm going to say this. Sometime this season, Tai Felton will score a touchdown of 30 yards or more. He's going to score one from downtown. Probably a lot of yak. Like I could see a little screen or like a little crossing route that turns into something bigger. Tai Felton will score a touchdown of at least 30 yards sometime this season. Write it down.
Write this down.
All right, back to Wesley. Second prediction.
All right. Write this down. In the Vikings and Packers series this upcoming season, JJ McCarthy, Pookie, will have a higher quarterback rating than Jordan Love.
Ooh.
I can see that. Yeah.
Okay. Pookie's just going to ball out.
Well, clearly.
Yeah.
Clearly, you are a believer in Pookie.
Oh,
Write this
man.
down.
If Thor is JJ McCarthy's dad, then I'm just his cousin, we're I'm riding with them.
Or maybe you're his uncle. We have to find the relation here. I feel like you're pretty.
Yeah.
Write this down.
I feel like if you are driving during games on Sundays, if McCarthy throws or scores a touchdown rushing, you got to sound the bighorn.
Oh, I do all the time. I'm just like flipping out my truck and honking the horn and going crazy. Yeah.
I love it.
Looking over. Is that guy having a medical emergency in his semi?
No, the Vikings just scored a touchdown.
No, Minnesota just won.
Write this down. Write it down. You like writing things down.
All right, Judd, your second prediction.
Okay, at least 2 undrafted free agents from the 2025 class will make the Vikings 53-man roster. So at least 2 UDFAs that they signed this spring will make the Vikings roster. The initial, I should say, probably in fairness, 53 man.
And you've got a few, but Kobe King was drafted.
Kobe King was drafted, but I've got the
Vaughn. What's his name? The cornerback.
Yes.
In that mix, you got a couple guys on your.
Yep.
Just looking at your
2's a lot.
here.
2's probably a touchdown. 1 not a touchdown, but I think there's a good chance.
I think we should settle on that right now, though.
Okay, I think if 2 UDFAs, I would propose if 2 guys who were undrafted make the 53, it's a touchdown. 1, I would probably say not.
Because it is a pretty established roster.
Yeah,
it's mostly
there's not a lot of space.
spots.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like there's spots left and right. There's a lot of spots that are taken.
Okay,
it's probably a long shot on 2, but I think that there's a chance on 2.
Okay, yeah, we can make note of that. We'll trust Judd's camp notes here.
Write this down.
Back to Dex, second prediction.
I'll make a Tai Felton one too. Write this down. Tai Felton secures a touchdown within the first 3 games of the regular season. We'll get an early TD. We'll get an early tutty from Felton. I don't think he'll get a lot of snaps necessarily, but I do think he'll cash in, find himself for 6. So write it down. He'll secure a touchdown early in a game within the first 3 games specifically. Write it down.
Just to be just to have our bases covered here, if he is a return guy, I don't necessarily expect it, but he could be.
Yep.
Okay.
That counts. Yeah, just secures a touchdown.
So special teams or
hell, if he's on defense or something, scoops and scores, I'll take them all.
He's on the
Ty,
hands
go play
team.
linebacker.
Yeah.
You can if it's an onside kick and you're on the hands team, you can house that for a touchdown, right?
It happened in the there was a Cowboys game last year.
It was Jaron Kirsch, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, so yes, most definitely.
Maybe that's how.
Write that down.
Maybe that's how it happens. Okay, write this down. Jordan Mason will score a touchdown this season before Aaron Jones. Jordan Mason will score a touchdown before Aaron Jones.
Yep.
I'm expecting a lot in the red zone. And even between the 20s. People are sleeping on Jordan Mason between the 20s too. He feasted with the 49ers, so.
Oh, he's going to play.
Write that down.
He might even wind up just with, by the end of the year, with all factors considered, more carries and more workload. So, okay, back to Wesley from his semi-truck in his JJ McCarthy jersey for his third and final prediction.
I got one to kind of troll the Bears fans a little bit. Write this down. It will be documented from now to the end of the season that Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams will be painting each other's fingernails, and or Ben Johnson will show up to a game with Bears-themed fingernails.
Oh my gosh!
Wow, where did that come from? That's great.
I don't know. I just thought of it as I could see it happening.
That's
I love
completely
this.
But that's got to be a touchdown.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah. I think we'll give you that one. Yeah, I mean, if they're documented painting each other's fingernail. Well, you said fingernails. What if it's toenails?
Oh,
We don't want you to take a bad beat here.
Throw
Can we throw
that
toenails in there too.
Yeah, he might have sandals on the sideline or something.
Yeah, I mean, if he
painted toenails.
If he walks into a stadium with flip flops on and painted Bears themed toenails, we don't want you to take a bad beat on this. So.
Yeah, that would just be
training camp practice.
Oh my gosh, the Chicago wind blowing through his wet toenails. Okay, anyways, Wesley, since you've got this life-changing platform right now, is there anyone you'd like to shout out or thank in your life that helped you get here?
Oh man, I want to thank you guys for just being on. Like, I didn't even know this podcast was a thing. I was watching another Vikings podcast and I clicked on one of your guys' videos. I'm like, who the hell's this old guy talking? I don't know who these people are. And then I got to learn that's not just an old guy. That's Judd. That's Judd's camp notes. Like, that's
exactly.
the guy.
Yeah, put some respect on his gray hair.
OG of camp notes here. His first camp notes to the public were the first few years of Twitter. And he would just be rifling off camp notes, like 2008 Twitter, and then like lunch updates, enjoying a sandwich, going to Applebee's. Brad Childress said this. So when did you discover the show?
It was, I think, just before the O-line committee came out.
Okay,
so it's
like
only been like, But and want to thank my boss for letting me, sit around here while I'm at work, not working, to do this. But yeah,
it's a good boss.
Yeah. Oh man, he's amazing.
See,
awesome, man. Well, Wesley, great job with your predictions. Hope we can do it again sometime. Keep trolling those Lions and Bears fans.
Oh, all the time.
Can you give us one more honk for the road?
Yeah.
Just one more. There we go. There it is. Right,
here it comes.
It's just people walking by.
Wow.
Yeah, they're actually paving the lot here, and there's like 10 guys that they keep looking over like, what the hell's going on over there?
What's he doing?
Purple Daily, baby. You're on Purple Daily.
Yeah, this is important work I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly,
dude. Exactly. All right, Wesley. We'll see you again sometime.
See ya.
Enjoy the rest of your week. Wow. Great stuff, man. That's definitely the first time we've had a semi-horn honking on.
100%.
Yeah. I think we've had people join Ventline, I think, from their semi truck before. I think.
Yeah, but not. I don't think they've honked.
No,
I don't think maybe.
No. Like with a headset like that was nice.
Yeah,
it's a pro setup.
That's a hell of a setup for a truck.
Yeah, MSP Plumbing, Heating, and Air can give you a hell of an HVAC setup. Air conditioning is going to be needed this weekend, so get that thing fixed.
It's getting hot again, right? And now I need you to be prepared. And here is the best way by contacting our friends at MSP to book a $49 AC tune-up and get a BOGO air quality bundle. That means a pristine electronic air cleaner and a UV light for the price of one. Get that air going. Make sure it's working because it is going to get hot and sticky. Also, MSP is partnering with the Open Door, which is a hunger relief organization providing food to more than 20,000 people a month. MSP will be collecting brown paper bags during their HVAC and plumbing calls to help distribute food to folks who are in need. Give them a call, 651-615-4292, or check out their website, call@msp.com. MSP Plumbing, Heating and Air. Take it from the sports dad who has used these people, allowed them inside his house, and they've done great work that they're going to help you as well. Call MSP.com.
Also, Meadows at Mystic. I personally, I kind of like just sitting out there in the sweltering heat.
I do too.
For me, shooting like a $1.05. Love me some hot weather golf.
A $1.05. I mean, that's a great day for me. I'll, probably more a $1.10, $1.15, but that's okay because the Meadows at Mystic Lakes welcomes all type of players. Whether you're breaking 80, whether you're shooting in the triple digits, that's all right. golfthemeadows.com to book that tee time. They got the GPS infused carts. They have a great pro shop, not the rinky dinky like, hey, there's like 2 sleeves here. No. They got a whole selection that you need to start your round off right. So when you go up there, go to golfthemeadows.com to book the tee time. And when you're up there, send us a selfie to the Meadows at Mystic Lake.
All right, Judd.
Write this down.
Your third and final prediction here.
All right. I think I made this prediction last year. It didn't happen. But if JJ McCarthy has the season that the Vikings are expecting, it will happen this coming offseason. Josh McCown will get an NFL head coaching job after the 2025 season. Now, he's made it pretty clear that he is not going to leave here for an OC job. He basically is saying, I played quarterback for a long time. My job with the Vikings, where I think he's basically akin to an OC here as well. So he wants a head coaching job. He has definitely had opportunities to at least interview for jobs. I think the Texans tried to actually get him before he had ever coached at all, and he had just played. So he's going to get an NFL head coaching job after this season.
Wow. So he's gonna kind of skip. By the way, Wes Phillips signed a contract extension.
Yeah.
I saw that come across. So he's kind of blocked here from being a coordinator.
Well, he signed a 1-year extension. So he had a year left on this contract. He signed for another year. I didn't realize until I read the story or had forgotten that the Chargers that Brandon Staley tried to hire him as his OC like after 2022. I think he was going to allow him to call plays, which he obviously doesn't do here because O'Connell does. And Wes said no.
Oh, interesting.
For Herbert, I mean, that's not a bad team to be the OC for.
No, that's not a bad quarterback to call plays for. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he saw into the future and said, "I don't want to be attached to a playoff failing quarterback.
That might have been it.
Going to shipwreck Mike. I don't want to get blamed for him.
Well, and then
pissing down his leg in the AFC wild card round.
Because Staley got fired after. Was it after 22 or after 23?
It was after 23, right? Because last year was Harbaugh's first.
So Wes might have been like, I don't think Staley is going to last, and he would have been right.
Yeah.
Write that down.
Interesting. All right, Dex.
One more for me. I'll go to the Jeff Okudah bin that we talked about a little bit yesterday. Write this down. I don't know if he's gonna, be a full-time starter necessarily, but I do think we'll see some snaps, and we'll see snaps early. So just write this down. Jeff Okudah logs at least 5 defensive snaps in week 1. I think he'll get on the field. I know that corner, he might be still fighting it a little bit in the depth chart. We'll see how things shake out in training camp. I do think he'll see the field. It might be, in rotation at times just for a series or just for a few set of plays. But I do think he plays in week 1, and I'll quantify it with just 5 defensive snaps.
If OTAs and minicamp were a true indicator, it will be an upset if he plays that few snaps in week 1.
Wow.
Okay.
So like he is, and I don't know if it's because of the knee or just what they want to see from Okudah, but there is no question that Mekhi Blackmon right now is behind Okudah on the depth chart.
Interesting.
So I would say if he has a good training camp, the 3 corners out there in the nickel are going to be Byron Murphy Jr. inside, Isaiah Rodgers outside, and Jeff Okudah outside.
Yeah, I feel like they're putting a lot of eggs in that basket. If he's revived and fulfills, his promise and potential, that's great. But I don't know. It just kind of feels like they're banking on it a little bit more than I feel comfortable with.
I think they feel that they have time. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Shaq Griffin is not signed yet elsewhere. They did bring in Stephon Gilmore off his couch in training camp. I think they feel that they have more time to suss this out than we do.
Well, they do, yeah.
And Mekhi Blackmon, by the way, might be absolutely fine. Like, he's coming off a knee, but it's been, when training camp starts, it will have been a year. And, there is a chance he's just good, too. So, I'm not saying it's solved. I think they are I think that's one where they're far less panicked than the public is. Yeah. Including the show.
And they're confident they can hide players' flaws, as we've talked about in that system. There's Ivan Pace is terrible in coverage. They kind of hide it. They didn't have any interior pass rush last year from the down linemen. They kind of hit it through dialing up pressures and stuff. So I don't know how you can hide an outside cover cornerback being bad at coverage.
You can't unless the only way to hide that, there's 2 things. One is if your pass rush gets home, and second of all, you give him the short side of the field. And
sure.
Isaiah, so basically you put your eggs in the Isaiah Rodgers basket and you try to protect and cover for Okudah. But if Okudah's bad there, Blackman's going to, he's not going to get the job. If he struggles, then Dex will be wrong.
It's like in Little League. You hide your worst player in right field and hope to God the ball doesn't get to him. That's
Okudah. Yeah,
that's Okudah.
And that kid picks dandelions and stuff in the outfield. Drives me crazy. Pay attention to the damn game.
Jeff, the ball was snapped, okay?
I always took it seriously. You know what? I was buried out there, and I took it seriously. I was ready every pitch.
You had a cannon for an arm, too, from what I saw, the scouting reports.
I wanted to be a catcher, but I always got demoted from it.
Why? Because you
I wasn't
catch
that good.
Or what?
Well, because I wasn't that good at it. I didn't have an arm, so I couldn't throw guys out.
Yeah.
So they put you in right field where teams are just running first to third on you all game?
Oh, it's Little League. No one hit the ball out there. Dex is right.
That's true.
I didn't get the ball. But anyway, don't be picking dandelions. Be paying attention. If the ball came to me, guess who was prepared? That's right, this guy.
As someone who spent 2 years coaching Little League when he was younger, and I know Royce, this is Royce, he approved. you have to have a guy that can catch the ball, and you got to have at least somewhat of a competent first baseman.
Yeah, first base is the most important athletic position in some ways because it's like you just need to catch the ball that's thrown.
Just catch the ball.
Scoop ball.
First at base and catch, and especially with kid pitch, because you're going to throw 25% of them are going to be wild pitches and they're going to the backstop. So a catcher and a first baseman, those are your first secured things. Everything else will just work itself out.
Yeah. Life lessons.
Life lessons, Little League from
work itself out.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay. Final prediction here. Write this down. I see a breakout season from Dallas Turner in my purple crystal ball here. So I'm going to predict it this way. Dallas Turner will have more sacks than either Andrew Van Ginkel or Jonathan Grenard.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Or maybe both.
Well,
he will have more sacks than at least one of those two guys. Write it down.
Okay. Van Ginkel, I can see. Grenard is...
well, there's different ways this could happen.
Let's say if one of these guys gets hurt, that's probably the most likely path.
I'm throwing Philip Bouquet for this prediction. Like, I'm trying to be like, oh, wow, that's a really... But I do agree. I think he's going to have a big year.
Yeah. I mean, Nolan Smith would be probably the closest comp in terms of, he came in as a rookie in Philadelphia. Now, he was younger. He came in, as a 22 or 23-year-old rookie in Philadelphia, first-round pick. And, they had a lot of depth. They had guys in front. He didn't start any... He played 17 games in 2020. They didn't start any of them. And he only had, I think it was, one sack. Did he have any sacks? He had one sack in 2023. And then last year he winds up starting 10 games. He played in 16. He winds up with 7 sacks on the season, just a much. So I think you're going to see something like that.
All right.
But he'll have more sacks than one of those two guys. Write it down.
Write this down.
So, all right, guys. Some good life lessons today. Hanging out in a semi-truck.
That was awesome.
Some great predictions from our guy. And tomorrow it'll be Thursday. One more sleep until Thursday here. Purple Daily. Click that like button and the subscribe button if you haven't on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. And then on Apple and Spotify, you can help us with a 5-star rating and a positive review. And then there's the OG edition of Write That Down on Mackie and Judd and the Score North YouTube channel if you want more of our mostly wrong predictions. For Judd, for Dex, I'm Phil. We just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die.